Alrighty, so I think I just have to go to Miss Zircon, and this should give me my final thing. Alright, let's see it.
The ultimate weapon is here, and it is
the Rhino 8.
thanks to you, honey.
Oh, it looks like a wasp.
The Rhino, the greatest instrument of mayhem this universe will ever know. Until the next one gets made, just pull
Pretty much.
the fire trigger to rip open a hole to another dimension. What will come out? Little Zircon is not telling. Little Zircon doesn't really know.
Doesn't really know. So this is the Rhino. Rift your enemies a new one. That's what it's called. That's what it means. Aim to misbehave. I love it. And then as you can see, explosive area, direct hits do more damage, stuff like that. I don't have the time to upgrade it. But that was an entire ship. Look how big the actual blast radius is though. This is like the ultimate test to see how good the weapon is.
Welcome back, Solo. Win, you loser. Win.
2%. Oh, no. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Cash, and we are here today to go over Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. This game was fantastic. As a Ratchet and Clank fan, I'm really happy to have played it. But also as a Ratchet and Clank fan, I gotta rip this game a new asshole. I gotta rift it apart, okay? Because honestly, as a RNC, I think that if you didn't play a Ratchet and Clank game in your life, I think this game would have been perfect for you. But I have specific critiques that I have against the game that I really want to go into, and it's actually this might be one of the games where the spoiler part might be longer than the non-spoiler part, because a lot of it has to do with the intricacies and the story of the game. So let me try my best to do the non-spoiler part. So non-spoiler, I mean, it's Ratchet and another chick named Rivet that you meet in the game. It's very clear. It's on the cover. That's not a, come on, leave me alone. All right, so they're going through the game. There's also Clank. And literally within the beginning of the game, they get separated, and then you pretty much go through the game through that. Dr. Nefarious, which is a very, very famous villain in the Ratchet and Clank series. I think from the 3rd or 4th game, I don't actually remember. He's up to no good. He does some nonsense, and the game kind of protrudes from there. Now, as far as the weapon selection, that's actually why I wanted to have the game on, right, when I'm doing this. Like, let's look at the weapons. Back out. I can't look at the weapons because of the mode I'm in. Of course that would be true. But the weapon selection is actually very important, I think, into the game. And I guess this would be in the spoilers section, because then I'll be showing you guys all the weapons in the game. So I'm not gonna do that. I'll save that for the spoiler section. But the weapons is one of the things I'll say briefly in the non-spoiler section, that the weapons in the game I feel are slightly lackluster. I would have to pretty much compare this as me comparing this game to older games. And I don't even know if I can pull up. I can try for a brief second. Ratchet and Clank weapons. I don't even know if that's even a thing, if I can do that. Oh, there's a wiki, a nice little wiki page, probably for, oh my god, it has every single weapon in each game. Up your arsenal, tools of destruction, Secret Agent Clank, dear god. So this actually is what I really wanted. I don't know what the first one was called. I think it was just called Ratchet and Clank 2002 game. Is this the first one? Yes, it is. Hold on, guys. Let me show this to you. A little trip down memory lane for the boys. All right. Again, I'm gonna go more in depth of this in the spoiler definition, the spoiler part. But just so you guys can see the Rhino, the first Rhino, the 2002 Rhino, the wrench, the Pyro-Incinerator, which is a fire sniper rifle, the Tesla Claw, which is a electric thing, the blaster, your standard pistol, the suck cannon, the glove of doom, The Devastator, yes, it was the bomb glove. What else did they have? Drone device. Oh, they must have some of the other thing. Gold blaster, that's another thing that they did. The gold, they made the weapons gold. Visibomb, I forgot what that is. The Walloper. You don't even know there's history behind the Walloper. The Morpho Ray was hilarious, and the Mind Glove. Those are all the weapons in this game, and I feel like these weapons were extremely pretty cool, and I felt like, especially when you were first introduced to the game, they really like threw you for a loop. The weapons in Rift Apart, I feel like there were very similar to these. Obviously, there is a formula that happens in each game. There is a sniper rifle, there is a bomb throwing thing, there is a missile launcher, right? But something like the suck cannon doesn't exist in the Rift Apart. It's a really fun weapon. Only certain enemies can be sucked up for this one. It's pretty funny. The taunter, which I think was when you threw like decoy. The decoy, is it? I could have swore that was it. Yeah, decoy glove. I almost, oh, how did I forget about the decoy glove? It like literally you throw it out and they all aggro on it, and then they do that. Now they have like very similar things to it. There is a decoy thing in this game, but it's done in a weird way. It's not as funny, it's not as silly as I like, and that's kind of what this Ratchet & Clank game is always about. It's always about a more funny game with, and I think later on the series got way more serious, and as much as I appreciate that, because that means like obviously the graphics and they want it to be a more like inline kind of thing, but the game was built on humor and it was built on silliness, and I feel like they kind of lost track of that to make this big blockbuster game. I think that they really wanted to make this game kind of get out of the silliness and go to a more serious mode of the game, and I really disagree with it, because it didn't feel as fun. I think in some of the parts, I think that they tried to throw in some humor. There are more like jokes thrown there instead of like more funny situations. And there are a decent amount of funny situations in Rift Apart. I just don't think that they hit the mark a little bit. Like Clank was trying to throw some jokes, but he didn't have the same pizzazz that he usually does. Again, this is like, what is this called? First world problems. Like, I just didn't think that the game hit those keynotes, or maybe it's because I'm a little bit older and the humor is like less mature. Maybe that might be it. I don't know. What other things can I talk about? I mean, the graphics of the game are phenomenal. I mean, what else on the PS5 is going to look doo-doo unless it's intentionally made to look doo-doo, as in the graphics are scaled down, or as if the game is supposed to look a certain way. I can understand that, but that's not the case here. They went all the stops. All the game looks pretty good. They had a couple of little weird things that I didn't like some traversal things that I wasn't a fan of, like some scenes with Rivet where she's doing certain things on a certain thing that I won't speak on, but I didn't like that part whatsoever. It just didn't feel right. And the second part is that since this is with Ratchet and Rivet, you are bouncing between both characters. You're never really playing at both at the same time, which that's fine, but I think that I would have preferred more fleshed out areas of each character. So like when you're playing as Ratchet, as soon as you do one part, it's like then you have to go do Rivet and she's doing another part, and each person is playing their same role, and if you, based on how the story develops, they're doing everything pretty much at the same time, and then they would like meet up or something like that, and it just seemed very weird for that to be happening. I kind of wish that and I've seen the story mechanic or concept used before, is that they're doing a lot before they meet up. They're doing a lot of things before they meet up. I definitely think that they could have done more by themselves and then having them trying to work together on certain stuff, but they didn't really work together. They kind of would do something and then try to meet up and talk about what it was and then go do some other stuff as it kept happening. I think that it didn't really hit me the way that I wanted it to. I'm trying to think of everything. If you wonder why I'm stuttering on my words, like I said, I think it's just go to the spoiler section. Let's just go to it, because a lot of the stuff that I have a complaint about is really more in depth into the game, and I would hate for the people that want to still play the game to be spoiled by half the stuff that I'm saying. Let's just go straight into it. Honestly, it's just one of those type of things. So based off what I was just talking about, right? Ratchet and Rivet, they're switching around, right? I definitely don't like Ratchet and Rivet. I don't actually like them as far as who they are. Now Rivet is supposed to be Ratchet's counterpart, like in a different dimension. Ratchet is Rivet and Rivet is Ratchet, but it seems weird when you look at some of the other counterparts in the show, in the game, like what is it, Skeeter? I forgot his name. He is a guy. He's a guy and a guy. Now I'm not trying to be sexist, like I don't want, hey, why is it a woman? Why is it a woman? It's not like that. But if he was to have a counterpart, I would assume that it would be a little bit different than him. Like Rivet is not too much different from Ratchet. They kind of seem the same. Meanwhile, like every other counterpart has a more dramatic difference to them. I'd actually would prefer it if possibly even Ratchet's counterpart was the villain. If at one point I thought that Rivet was going to be a villain, or she was going to be involved with the villains, but they really don't even touch on that. She's pretty much trying to handle not Doctor, but Emperor Nefarious. I didn't want to spoil that too much in the other part, but Emperor Nefarious, he's been trying to beat him and she can't. So that's the only reversal. Rivet is trying to beat Emperor Nefarious and can't do it. So she keeps failing over and over again. Meanwhile, Ratchet has beaten Dr. Nefarious multiple times. It's like the switch, that's like their switch. But they're still kind of the same person. They're still trying to beat the bad guy. I would have loved if it was switch. Like maybe Rivet is evil and you needed to team up with Nefarious, the Emperor Nefarious, or the Nefarious of Rivet's world, to beat Rivet. Like that would have to me been a way better point. There's a ton of other ideas that I was thinking of that would have made it seem way cooler. Or maybe you had to beat Clank's counterpart, which was Kit. I didn't want to spoil that either, but Kit is a super mega death robot that was programmed to defend one of Nefarious's like guard posts or something like that. And that whole aspect, as you guys know in the playthrough, if you guys haven't watched me do the playthrough, if you're interested, if you're in the spoiler section, I didn't like that. I didn't like Kit's involvement into the game. It just seemed like she was thrown in there literally just because Clank is in the game. So they were like, you know what? Rivet needs a Clank. Rivet needs a Clank. What's the backstory? She was a robot that was, they didn't even say she was reprogrammed or anything. Pretty much shot up Rivet and felt guilty about it, so she left. And it's like she still has the mode, which I thought, oh, she can't control it. She can't control it, which it seemed like she couldn't, but then all of a sudden, miraculously, she does. They don't even actually explain why she's able to control it near the end of the game. It's just like, well, you know, Kit can do it. So it's just like, wait, what? Like, what? You could tell that they were going for a more serious approach, and I think that they did not nail the serious approach. Like, they really tried to nail the different dimensional stuff, but I don't think that they nailed it. I think that it was just like, they have other games with the difference of time and stuff like that going in different, crank of time or whatever, and it was just like weird. I don't think that they hit it on the top of the head. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is, like I said, well, weapons, right? So now, like I said, this is from the first game. These are some of the cool weapons. I can go back, right? So I can even look for, let's say, a game that I know. Into the Nexus is an old game. This actually, look, this is where Mr. Zircon actually comes in. The Rhino, what is it, 5, 6, 7. Nice, right? Nether blades, fusion grenade, the grenade launcher, plasma striker is the sniper. Every game kind of has and this, I'm pretty sure people would appreciate this, but this is what the games are always had. The Winterizer, like really cool games. Plasma Slayer, I don't know half these things. I'm just going through random things. Let's look at another one. Thank God for this page. Let's see, one of my favorite, Tools of Destruction, I think was one of the bigger ones. So we got the Buzzblades making their first appearance, right? Fusion Grenade, Steel Predator Launcher, Rocket Launcher, Pyro Blaster was like a flamethrower, Alpha Disruptor, don't even know what that does. Rhino is back here again. Tornado Launcher, that sounds great. Magnet Launcher, which I think was like a Nano Swarmers, Negotiator, which was I think another rocket launcher kind of thing. Combustor, and again, you always have your, like I said, you always, it has a theme is what I'm trying to get to, that you're always in a theme. So the weapons in this game, so let's go to the first page, which is the standard blasters, right? You have the standard blasters. When it upgrades, all it does is get this 3 arc. I'm like, okay. And I actually would need the, you know what? I'm gonna use the page because it's gonna help me figure out. So real quick, again, let me just, so like the Glove of Doom is from the first game, which is pretty much the same one that they have in here. The Glove of Doom evolved into the Apocalypse. Where does it say it? The Apocalypse Glove, I think it said here. Yeah, like the names were just kind of cooler when you upgraded some of these weapons. Like I just wanted to like the gold. See, this game had like the gold glove. The Morpho Ray turned into something else. I forgot what it's called. The Morpho Ray turns into like the Sheepinator, I think. Yes, there it is. Up your arsenal, the Sheepinator. It evolves and it has a different name change. So that was something that, as far as for me, it was definitely a thing that I liked a lot. That the names would change. Yes, the Pyro Incinerator turns into the Lava Incinerator. So like I kind of got into the habit. I'm sorry, I have it like off to the side so you guys can see my other screen. So like this weapon, the blast pistol. It was, let's see what it was before. Yeah, the blast pistol was the burst pistol. The executioner, which was like the shotgun, which was a very famous one. I think was initially, yeah, called the Enforcer. The Enforcer turns into the so like it kind of like the, oh yeah, the Toxiary Sprinkler was the Topiary Sprinkler first. I didn't necessarily like too much of the weapons in here. Yes, Mr. Fungal turns into Mr. and Mrs. Fungal. Yes, the Negatron Collider turns into the large Negatron Collider. And I feel like I didn't find too many unique weapons that I really wanted to try. Like, I really like the Cold Snap. I don't think they've ever had a weapon like that I can remember, where you could throw it and then they get frozen, they're sliding all over the place. That's cool. The Topiary Sprinkler was pretty cool because you turn them into bushes and you see it. It literally, I love that. That's one of the things I love about Ratchet. Like certain weird stuff like that works on all the enemies, even the bosses. Love that. That was awesome to see. This is, standard bomb. This is the Ricochet. Ricochet was pretty cool. This was pretty cool. Let's see what else. The Blackstorm was just like another gun. It's like a better pistol. And I feel like some of the later weapons were just better versions. This was another, like, something you throw it. It's like a turret. The Buzz Blades were returned. So, like, and then the Rhino, which is the Rhino 8, which I just looked it up, and it says that the Rhino 8 turns into the Rhino Infinite, which would be cool to see what that is, but it would take me forever to level this thing up, and I'm not really too much interested to see it. But usually, that's a pretty cool thing when the Rhino does evolve. And this one just shoots a thing. But before the Rhino, what's cool about the Rhino in the other games is that it was a rapid fire missile launching thing, so it would help you actually finish the game. Like this, I don't think that. And it drops something and it makes a big explosion. Oh, it dropped the sheep. That's funny. But like, that's funny. But like, if that didn't do much on bosses, and as funny as it would be to clear out minions with that, especially with 5 ammo, you kind of wanted to use that as an end all be all. It was like, it's meant to be broken. It's meant to be super broken, and it doesn't feel that broken to me. When I remember the other Rhino, you would pretty much win. And that's more of a nitpick, I guess. Really, a real big nitpick. Now, let me go back into the arena, because there comes my next issue with the game, and that's going to be the arena. The arena in this game, I again wanted to use an example of the old arenas, but I feel like I don't know where I would even find that in this wiki. Now, the arena here has 3 levels of difficulty, right? Bronze, silver, and gold. And unfortunately, only 5 challenges within each. Let me tell you, hold on, let me just at least try to look. All right, I can't really find it. You'll have to take my word for it. Pretty much the arena had way more challenges. It was a little bit more like challenging to do. They had more unique bosses, and that's gonna be my next thing that I did. Like, again, didn't want to spoil that either, but it was way more stuff to do. Like I kept saying throughout the playthrough, oh man, I can't wait to get to the Only Wrench challenge, and they didn't do it. I was like, wait, that's always in there. There's usually more weapon challenges. There's only 3, which was like 1 in each tier, which was like, what? Like, usually you had multiple only weapon challenges, so you had to really learn how to use the weapon or level it up in order to do that. Didn't see enough of that. The bosses, some of them were recycled, like a lot of boss recycling, which is like, it's pretty much my next gripe, is that the bosses were recycled. A lot of the boss was this big armored dude that did the same rotation. The dinosaur recycled a lot, and what was the other one? I feel like those are the main 2, and then of course you fight like Nefarious, which is he's a very fun fight. He's always has been in the games. I remember one game when he was the final boss, he was really a trouble to reckon with. Like, it was a long fight too. But I don't get why they nerfed the arena. That used to be a legitimate, like, decent time dunk. Also, in one of the games, I forgot what game it was, but Ratchet and Clank game, where the arena also had a lot of like actual challenges. They kind of took that away from the arena and they put that into those dimensional rifts where you had to do like a puzzle or something like that. That used to be part of the arena, so I won't fault them for that. They did add that into the other aspects of the game, but at least it was somewhere in the game, right? I think that was pretty cool. And I don't want to rag on it too much, because the obvious things that were good about it is obvious. It's still a fun game. Is it worth the play? Is it worth it? Oh, absolutely. But like I said, as a Ratchet and Clank fan, I think that I was just slightly disappointed with it. I think that I don't know what other things I could put. Oh yeah, the relationship between Kit and Rivet. I couldn't give a flying fuck about that. Are you kidding me? Oh, you invaded a place where the guard bot or whatever like that shot your arm off, and you're mad about it because she didn't tell you that it was her, like as if it was relevant information at that time. I guess I get, oh, we're working with the enemy, but you didn't. I don't know. I didn't feel that at all. I think that was silly. We also didn't. Ratchet still hasn't gone back to see the Lombax, so if there's any chance for a sequel, it might be Rivet and Ratchet going to see the Lombax. I think that that's what they're kind of alluding towards. And I could have swore, which was very weird, they kept making it seem like, well, no, yeah, I'm about to say, like, Ratchet's definitely met other Lombaxes before. He actually had a really cute one, I think, in the third one that was like, ooh, look at that, Ratchet got a girlfriend. And then we didn't get any vibes like that. I still thought that maybe Rivet might be his sister or something like that. They didn't do that either. So all in all, I do think that, like I said, game's worth the play. I can also understand that maybe you want to. I don't see what other things I can do in the game after I got that. After I got the Rhino, after I got a decent amount of the armors. That one thing I should say, I didn't give it. You know what? Let's go back in the game. I didn't give the game enough credit for that. Now this aspect of it was super cool. All the armors you can put on either Ratchet or the or Rivet. And, you know, as you can see, I didn't even get all the armors yet, but that was pretty cool. Like, kind of like giving them whatever I wanted, and it has like a little boost on top of it. Also, the golden bolts, usually before they were, I think you would sell them. I don't actually remember specifically what you did with them, but the fact that I can change the skins, I got enhanced gallery, so I think that pretty much allowed me to see different stuff in it. Yeah, look, gives me different things that I can see, which is pretty cool. I could turn on like the damage numbers. I can change what the bolts look like. I thought this was phenomenal. I thought that this was a really cool like home runner. Knock enemies out of the park when you defeat them with your melee weapon. That sounds funny as hell. Confetti craniums. A burst of confetti flies out of the enemy's weak spot when hit. That sounds cool. Music plaque, and then the last one, rendering mods. Unlock more rendering filters to play with. Noir. Oh, see, look, like that's cool. Like, I could have played the game like this if I really wanted to. Like, that's like actually cool. Like, that's really cool little side stuff. They definitely did a good job with that. The collectible aspect of it. I do think that they knocked it out of the park with that, making the gold bolts kind of do something completely different. And let me go more on the stuff that I like, because I hate to make it seem like I'm complaining about the thing entirely. There are some part of the game cinematically that actually played really well. I think that Rivet definitely got the better end of the stick. She has a little bit more cooler parts. I think it's because they are trying to build Rivet more. You already know who Ratchet is in Clank, but I do feel like Ratchet, you know, you don't really do too much, or he doesn't do any much cool stuff. He doesn't really have any cool lines, not too much. But I think that they did give Rivet, but at least they gave someone some pretty cool animations and stuff. Like when she's fighting the Fixer, it's actually pretty cool. I think that was a really amazing fight. I can't see, and I definitely think that they should do, you know, hopefully they keep that up. There was some, like, I didn't like when she's on Trundy, whatever. I think that part was a little bit but everything else I think was pretty cool. Like the intensity of the fights going forward were pretty strong. I definitely felt it in my soul, like that it was actually pretty difficult. I felt that it was hard, and I was playing on the harder difficulty as well, so I definitely felt up to par. And I think it's a decent challenge. I think that certain people will probably maybe max different weapons. I could see that they might favor certain weapons, but the ammo aspect is that, you know, you're pretty much gonna end up using all your weapons. And I don't know what else much to say, man. I just, my gripes are bigger because like I said, it's a great game, but I have more nitpicks. Those are nitpicks, and I hope people can discern the difference between me like really digging into the game. Like, I do think that, like I said, like the story aspect of it, switching between both, like I didn't like that too much. But did it work? I think it worked for the game. I think it did just fine. I would prefer them to dig more deeper into the characters, especially Rivet. I don't think you know who that Rivet is, but I still think it was okay at the end of the day. I think more intro into Kit. I think more intro into Rivet and Ratchet's relationship. More intro into Dr. Nefarious and Emperor Nefarious, like how their relationship was. Like, we pretty much got that Emperor Nefarious was just running stuff, but I would have loved to see a little bit more of that, and more of them, you know, maybe having some type of tiff. I would have really loved tiff really would have loved to see them like really go at it, or him to betray him or something like that, and you really didn't get to see that really done. But I really love the aspect of him like pretty much taking over the dimensions and really going crazy with it. That was pretty cool to see, but I don't know what they're gonna do next. What do you do outside, like I said, finding the Lombaxes? But what's the next threat? Does Dr. Nefarious, after sucking ass for so long, finally does something productive? Even in the beginning of the game, they were making fun of that same thing, like Dr. Nefarious constantly failing. Emperor Nefarious loses, but I don't necessarily know what he does. Maybe they join forces again. So I don't know. I hopefully there is another game, and I hope that they take some of these critiques as if they're watching this video, but I really hope that they take some of these and like bring it home and then really add more weapons to the game, or just have really unique ones. The upgrade system was pretty cool, but it seemed lackluster since you just gather a resource in the map and then you just go up and just upgrade it. I loved when you just kept using the weapon and it just upgraded to some crazy stuff. Half the stuff that was in that thing, I just wanted that to be added to the weapon once it reached level 5, and it would just reward you heavily for using that weapon. Then instead of it's like there's more ammo, that bounces off the walls, it does more damage on direct hits. All that should have been within the upgrade of the weapon, and it should have been more of a reward for constantly using the weapon, instead of like you kind of can upgrade a little bit there, get a little bit of something, and didn't really hit too well for me. It didn't really feel like I had choice, which is they were trying to give you the illusion of choice, but it didn't really feel like I was just upgrading it because I wanted the thing to be better, not that I was customizing it at all. So oh yeah, one last thing, the virus thing had a whole storyline. I actually recorded this is actually beginning of the recording of this, had a whole storyline, and you don't have to finish it, even though you had to do the virus thing to progress the game. But the last virus thing, the master virus, you do that as a side quest pretty much, and it's not that impressive. I'll show it to you right now.
There it is. A master virus.
Oh, you don't like what you see?
I don't care what you say. You are getting deleted now.
Putting on a brave face? That won't last long. Dimensions keep breaking.
Bring it on! Can my blitz infectors do any better?
And I'm sitting there and I did that and I'm like, that wasn't that crazy either. But it would have been nice to do it part of the storyline. So, whatever. YFOs in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Did you guys think it hit? Was I complaining too much? Was I being too nitpicky? Did I hit it on the mark? You guys let me know in the comment section below. But I really did enjoy the game, and it seems like I didn't, right? It really does seem like I didn't, but I really did. I think that the game is phenomenal, but I really hope that the next one does a lot better. Does a lot better. So yes, like, comment, subscribe, and just remember that every day at the Kashino is your lucky day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. By the way, that means another game slot is open on the channel. What's next? You guys let me know. Peace.